Hi, all. I am Josh Layu. I am the founder of Ghost Creative, and we are the folks behind Shop Hero Dashboard. So, thanks first of all for checking us out, for taking the time to look at this demo. What we want to do is walk through kind of a little bit of history of where Shop Hero came from, and then dive into some of the features so you can get a feel for what Shop Hero Dashboard can do for you, and if it's a good fit for your shop. So, really, this idea came from some shop owners that approach us. They use the whiteboard system to manage the flow of vehicles through their shop. And it's actually a really cool system, right? So if you're not familiar with it, you have a whiteboard on the wall. You segment that whiteboard into different kind of areas of your shop. So you have your area for each one of your technicians. You might have a quality control area, a waiting on parts area on your board. And then you create a card for every vehicle that comes in, and you take that little card and you attach it to the whiteboard in the applicable area. So if you want to assign a vehicle to a specific technician, you take that card, you put it in their slot, and it's a really cool way to visually see the status of all the vehicles in your shop. So the issue with that system is that there's not a great way to replicate that information across the shop. So your service writer is sitting right next to the board, and he or she can see that, but your technicians on the shop floor can't see that information. So what happens is the technicians either have to keep coming into the office, or if there's a vehicle that comes in that needs to take priority, then the service writer has to go out onto the shop floor and find the technician and let them know that priorities have shifted. So this group of shop owners came to us, and they really just posed the question, hey, can we digitize this? Is there a way that we can make this digital so that we could display this information throughout the shop instead of having it just stuck on this physical whiteboard? And we said, yeah, we think there is. So we gave it a shot. And what came out of it is this awesome product called Shop Hero Dashboard. And so you can see here, there's all these cards, and these all represent vehicles, and these get pulled directly in from Techmetric, which is the platform that we integrate with right now, with plans to integrate with other platforms in the very near future. And so this really is just a digital representation of that physical whiteboard. So in terms of our system, we talk about it in two pieces. What you're looking at right here would represent the control station side of things. So I'm the service writer. All of the vehicles that get placed into Techmetric would show up in dispatch, and then I can grab these cards and I can drag them and drop them kind of in whatever bucket I want to. So I could drop it into Rod's bucket or to Ryan's bucket or waiting on quote under Ryan. And really that just replicates that idea, that philosophy that these physical whiteboards have. And so that works, that's cool. But the cool piece of this is that we really have the remote viewing kit, and you can have as many remote viewing kits as you want. And what that gives you is the ability to hang large displays in your shop, plug these little remote computers in that we sell, and then your technicians can in real time see all the changes that are being made here. So when I drag a card and drop it in the control station, that change is immediately going to be reflected on those screens throughout your shop. That way, everybody in the shop knows the status of all the vehicles at any given time. Now, the other thing is you're not limited to just one control station with a large view-only display in your shop. If you want your technicians to be able to move cards around, so let's say we wanted Rod to be able to move cards around just in his containers. If you put a workstation at each one of the technician shops, you could create a layout just for them. We'll talk about layouts in a minute, just for Rod, where he could only see the buckets that pertain to him, and he could move cards in those buckets that then again would be reflected across the shop. So the one thing that we did that I think we really hit the nail on the head is allowed flexibility for the layouts. We don't know how every shop runs. And so when we went into this idea of let's create layouts, we did a few things, right? We added a lot of flexibility, like I just mentioned. We also made it so that you can create as many layouts as you want to be able to manage your shop effectively. So the front end is cool and this is fun, but let's look at the back end, the setup, because that's really where the power is. So if I go up here, click on settings, look on the back end here, what we have are a few things. One, we want to make sure that your store is branded for you, not for us. So you can drag and drop your logo here, and the logo will show up here in the upper left-hand corner. And that's just a nice thing so that if these displays are around the shop and customers are coming in, they're seeing your logo, not ours. We'll come back to timers in a minute, but the other thing we have here is these statuses to import. So you saw on the previous screen that dispatch area. Well, how do cards get into that dispatch area? I mentioned they come from Techmetric, but it's not just that. You get to decide which statuses from Techmetric get imported to dispatch. So in this case, in the most common scenario we see is vehicles that are listed as work in progress. We want to pull from Techmetric into Shop Hero dashboard. And what that means is if there's a vehicle that's work in progress, it's going to get dropped into dispatch. You can move it around to whatever containers you want. And then if you go into Techmetric and you would mark that job as complete, then it will automatically be pulled out of the Shop Hero dashboard because we don't want to show the complete vehicles. We only want to show the ones that are work in progress. So that's kind of how we determine which vehicles get pulled from Techmetric into Shop Hero dashboard, is we give you this flexibility to select which of Techmetric's statuses you want to pull into the system. So here's the really fun part. When we come down here and we look at layouts, so I want to be clear about a little bit of terminology here first. You're going to hear me talk about containers and talk about layouts. So containers are the individual areas where you can drop cards. So that would be this, like dispatch is a container, Kyle stage lookover is a container. And then the layouts are just a collection of containers that are organized in a certain way. So we gave you as much flexibility as we could imagine here, because you can create as many different containers as you want, and then you can create as many different layouts, which is a collection of containers, as I mentioned, that you want. So what that allows you to do is I can go in here and I can configure these containers however I want. So I can drag and drop them. I can do, tons of different things. So I can, if I wanted my QC to be moved over to the left side, not a problem. I can configure it like that. So it really allows you to fully customize the view specific to how your shop runs. What we're trying to do is give you a tool that allows you to implement your process visually, not require you to change your process to fit into our idea of how a shop should run. And that's really important to understand. So you get all kinds of flexibility here. You can create containers, you can edit them, you can remove them, whatever you want to do. You can create as many containers as you want. And again, I can come up here and I can save this as a new layout if I want. And now I can have one layout for my service writer. I can have one layout for technician one. I can have one layout for the east side of my shop and one layout for the west side of my shop. Really, the sky's the limit here when it comes to creating layouts to support the way that your shop runs. I told you I would jump back to timers, so I'll jump back there now. Any vehicle that gets pulled in from Techmetric, these shop owners came to us and they said, hey, listen, there's sometimes where we have what we call waiters. They drop the car off. We want to make sure that we're prioritizing their vehicle and getting them in and out of the shop quickly. And so they brought us this idea of timers. So on every card, you have a timer, and that timer I'll jump over here to the dashboard and show you. When you start a timer, what it's going to do is it's going to change the color of the card so that the people in the shop will immediately see that and they know that that's the priority. So if I go in here to this vehicle and I start the timer, it will change color, and then I can stop it and it will go back off. But here's the other cool thing we did. We set the default value in our settings. So if I come over here, this is the default timer value. So that default timer value gets applied to every one of the cards out here. So all of these timers can be configured individually. So if I wanted this to be a 15-minute timer instead of a 45-minute timer, I can come in here and do that. Okay, so all of these timers can be managed independently. So the real power behind Shop Hero Dashboard is not in the dragging and dropping. That's inevitable. We have to be able to do that to support your workflow. It's really in the configuration, that we have so much flexibility in the configuration that we can allow you to design the layouts that best support your shop. And really, ultimately, this is about efficiency, right? This is about getting vehicles in the shop getting taken care of what needs taken care of, and getting them out so we can all go home and spend time with our families at the end of the day, right? So you have happy customers, your employees are going to be happy, and everybody is not wasting time walking around the shop, running around trying to figure out the status of every vehicle, because it's right here visually everywhere across the shop. So again, I want to touch a little bit on hardware. What does it take to make this happen? Because this is web-based. So any computer that uses a modern web browser, you can use our system on. The only piece of hardware that you really need is a remote viewing kit. One of the unique things we're doing is we don't charge per screen. So a lot of people out here in the space, what they're doing is they're saying, hey, if you want a control station and 3 remote viewing kits, we're going to charge you a monthly service fee for each one of those screens that you want to view this on. That's not how we do it. We charge you one flat rate for your shop for the month. So it's $100 a month for the shop. And if you have 1 screen or you have 10 screens, doesn't matter to us. That you have to create the number or have the number of screens that best support your business. Each one of those remote screens, you want to have a remote viewing kit that will allow you to sync data automatically to those. Now, again, any PC, any computer will run this that has a modern browser. We also offer touchscreen control stations. So if you want that kind of feel of a touchscreen, similar to how the whiteboards are, we do offer touchscreen solutions as well. It's not required, but it's kind of a cool thing to keep that feel of the drag and drop that you get on the whiteboard. So if you have any other questions, you can always email us. The email is on the website right below this video. We're here to help. We're new in the space. I promise you're going to love the product. Give it a shot. Have a great day.